Yo, what's going on, snipers, and welcome back to our Edmonton Oilers Throwback 2010 franchise mode here in NHL 25. So in last episode, if you did not catch it, we had free agency, and we also got through the preseason and got our roster set up for the upcoming season, and we have a bit too many people on this team at the moment, which kind of sucks. I'm gonna figure out a way to basically get some of these guys playing time still. Like, I think maybe we end up sending Nikushkin down to the AHL just because I don't think I want to trade him yet. Honestly, we could trade him away, but I probably will send him to the AHL for the upcoming season. He does not go through waivers yet, so we'll probably send him down. David Savard is likely going to be traded in this episode to start off because we need to free up some defensive depth spots, basically. And then Sven Barchi, I might honestly just use as a depth forward just because he's already 22 years old. So that way, at least he gets some playing time in the NHL potentially. Like, I'll probably call up Andrew Shaw from the AHL or something like that as that other depth forward, just because he is also listed as a fourth liner, but I don't think obviously he has as high of the ceiling. He's a good, like, kind of more defensively grindy bottom six option. It was either him or Brock McGinn that could get called up, and I think I'd probably prefer to use Shaw as that depth option. Considering we just signed a Schultz guy, I think it's not that bad. Actually, wait a second. This Schultz guy is actually listed as a depth forward, so maybe we'll call him up instead. This guy we literally just signed in the last episode as a free agent. So maybe we'll call him up as the depth forward just because he won't complain about his ice time probably. Meanwhile, Andrew Shaw probably would. So I think we have that in place at least. But anyways, our team is going to be looking pretty good going into the season. A lot of youth injection in the bottom six, especially with guys like Latty, Jenner, Fada, and Yakupov, who were all in the minors last season. So very interested to see what this team's going to simulate like, because I think this roster honestly could make the playoffs. Our coach thinks that we can make the playoffs as well. So it should be interesting to see if this team actually does make the playoffs or not. We also do need to still set up our special teams because I did not do that in the last episode, but I kind of have in mind on who should be on the power play and who should also be on the penalty kill and that stuff of things. So we'll probably readjust that as well before we start simulating, but I'm excited, like I said, to see what this team is capable of this coming season. But anyways, before we get into starting up the 2015-16 NHL season, let's get in your guys' comments, see what you guys have to say about last episode, and then we'll get set up and ready for another season. So the first comment is from Max Effort, who says, no matter what, bring back Smitty, and I'm not too sure when we'll be able to bring back Ryan Smith, at least at some point, maybe this year, if at the trade deadline we want to upgrade our left wing side of things or something like that. We could always bring in Ryan Smith, but at least at the moment, I think right now we'll probably wait till middle of the season at least. His potential's dropped off a cliff, so this is probably going to end up being his last season in the NHL. He does have a little bit of a high cap hit, but this would be the last year of his career likely, so we'll see if we end up bringing him back or not, but it would be kind of nice to have him retire as an Edmonton Oiler, so keep that in mind. Maybe that's something we do at the trade deadline if we want to upgrade going into the playoffs potentially. And the last and final comment is from Sanartaku, who says, you know the Leafs are bad when the Sens fan channel owner takes pity on them. I have to say, at this point in an alternate reality, I would be happy with the Lightning as they're constructed even without Kucherov. The team you are running also looks good. Still a bit of work in progress, but the ceiling still should be quite high. And yeah, I really like the way this roster is constructed that we have on this team. I think we've been building up quite the roster out of young guys. We have been drafting well defensively. Like, we're starting to build up good depth in every single area. And then it's just all about putting those pieces together and maybe surrounding with free agent signings, trade acquisitions eventually down the road. And yeah, we can maybe turn this team into a cup contender, which is awesome. So yeah, very excited to see what this team can do this season. Obviously, this should be our best season to date unless the coaching staff drags us down, but I think our coaching staff is still good enough, but it is definitely something we could look to upgrade it potentially as we get better as a team. So anyways, with that said, let's go find trade and trade away David Savard because we need to find a way to get rid of him just because he is a healthy scratch and he will complain about ice time, and he's in the last year of his contract before he becomes a UFA. Like I said, also in last episode, I kind of want to just call up Safronov as that depth defenseman because right now he is scratched in the AHL. So let's go find trade on Savard. We should be able to get a solid return for him. Not going to do a third instead of Gucci. There's also a third in Brule. Derek Brassard straight up is not bad. I'd prefer not to bring back any players, to be honest, though, but a lot of teams are offering me a player involved in the trade, which is not what I want, really. I mean, I could use maybe some of these guys as, like, depth options, but I don't think that's what I want. So I'm probably going to just find a team and basically change the player or get rid of the player that's involved in the deal. Like Michael Leighton, we do not need him as a goalie, and we already just brought in a goalie recently. So we could definitely make this trade with the Philadelphia Flyers and just remove Leighton probably, and maybe change, maybe we won't change it into a pick. Let's just do a third rounder straight up, to be honest, because Leighton's got low value. Oh, they need to get rid of a player because of the 50 out of 50 contracts. Okay, so that makes sense. So we would have to actually take back a player, basically, from Philadelphia to get that done. We could also look to trade Chris Russell instead, but I think I'd prefer just to hold on to Chris Russell for now. Maybe he gets dealt at the trade deadline if he's not very good. But let's once again look at the Savard deal, see if there's a team that actually does have contract room, which there should be some teams because some AI teams haven't been managing super well. Let's see. Vancouver would give up a third and Joel Ward. Let's go to them. They should have contract space, I think, if we remove Joel Ward from this trade. Like, Joel Ward's not bad, to be honest, as like a depth forward. But he's kind of a third-line checking forward, which is something we don't really need. So I'm going to remove him. And they do have the contract space, but we'd be under the minimum cap, apparently, by moving this trade. So I guess we'll just retain money on him, because obviously this is just for the season only. If I retain $500,000, that's not enough. What if I retained a full-on $1 million? We'd be a cap compliant, okay? Let's see if we could go a little bit lower on that. 950, I guess we'd still be cap compliant. 900, still cap compliant. 850, cap compliant. We might as well try and stay cap compliant. Looks like, let's see, I guess I could get him for quite lower. There you go, that's where it changes, I think. 725, yep, 725 is what we have to retain, basically, to stay cap compliant. I'm fine with doing that, it's just for the season anyways, so... Vancouver, enjoy David Savard for basically, I guess, just under $1 million, or just under $2 million. That's not bad for them, so nice little deal for the Canucks, but we do get ourselves a third rounder. I may be able to change this to a second, and I don't really want 2031 because we do actually have a lot of picks in 2031, so let's see if we could change that pick to a 2032 pick instead. The third rounder is probably too much value. They do want to get rid of the third rounder, though. Yeah, I don't think, or the second rounder, I just think that's too much value. So we'll try to get the third for next year instead of this year, just because we have so many picks in this upcoming draft that we don't really need that much for this upcoming season. So Savard for a third, will this work? And the answer is yes, it will. So David Savard is on his way to Vancouver. It says it's a no-brainer, so maybe I could have gotten a second rounder. I don't know if it's because I retained that they're saying that, but... nice little trade there. We do retain a little bit of money on him, but it's just more to basically stay a little bit of cap compliant. So because of that trade, we are going to go to roster moves now, and we are going to make our call-up, which is going to be calling up Safronov. Safronov's okay to be a depth defenseman because he doesn't have a high ceiling, and he's already 23, so we'll call him up as that defensive depth option. So let's just do that. And there you go. So our defense score is going to look more like this season, which I think is not too bad. A lot of young, promising players like Kalinka, Zherdev, and Metropolit. And even Justin Falk still, even though he has been developing quite nicely already at this point. So that's good. Goalies are good. Forwards, I think, like I said, I probably want to send Val Nichushkin down to the AHL just because I don't feel like I want to trade him yet. But I feel like maybe it would be best to trade him away at some point just because we have a lot of other guys. But let's send Big Val down, and we will call up, I guess, we could call up somebody like Matt Martin as well as a depth option. But I think we're going to call up this Bjorn Schultz guy who is just a random free agent signing to fill out the AHL a little bit more. Has played 3 AHL seasons with the Norfolk Admirals in Tampa, I guess. And, yeah, might as well bring him in since he's 23 years old. So we'll call him up as the option instead of Val Nichushkin. And we'll go back to edit lines in the AHL and set this up a little bit more. And we'll set up our NHL lines a little bit better for the special teams to bin. Again, just to kind of see if that could get our team simulating good. So let's just get everybody in. Actually, we want Nichushkin high in the lineup. So let's just move a couple guys down. Let's go like that. And then Big Val could play probably on this line with McGinn and Shaw, I guess. Yeah, we'll go with that. So Nichushkin, there you go, perfect. I didn't really want to send him to the AHL, but I think it's probably the best bet because trading him right now, when he could end up replacing somebody like Jordan Eberle down the road, is probably not a great idea. So, anyways, there's our small adjustments. Using Barchi as a depth option to me still is kind of a one that I don't really want to do, but I don't really want to trade him yet either. I'm going to have to make a decision eventually at some point and trade one of those guys away, but I just don't want to do it yet, especially when you guys didn't give me a suggestion about what to trade them for. So, I think for right now, we'll just keep it like that. So, let's go to our power play and set it up the way I wanted. So, the way I wanted our power play to be set up is I want to have basically... I think it was 8 of our top 9 forwards are going to be on the power play, and then basically 2 specific defenders will be on the power play. So let's take Toffoli off this first unit. I think Jakimov's being with McKinnon and Cameron probably makes a lot of sense. We'll throw one defenseman onto this unit, which that defenseman is going to be probably Justin Falk on the first unit. I think Falk on the first unit makes a lot of sense. And then we'll take Yakupov off this unit. And who should be in this spot? Maybe Toffoli actually could be on the first unit. Trying to look back here a little bit. Yeah, we'll put Toffoli on the first unit for now on that point spot. So it'd be Toffoli, Falk, Jakimovs, McKinnon, and Cameron. Let's put Cameron here. Who's a better shooter, McKinnon or Toffoli? McKinnon's a 4-star. Toffoli's probably higher than that, right? Yeah, 5-star shooter. So we'll keep Toffoli definitely on the point. McKinnon, Cameron, Jakimovs, and Falk. I like that first unit. Actually, did that go from +3 to +2 when I moved the centers? No, it did not. I thought it changed. Oh, well. From a power play perspective for number 2, Marcoux is not going to be getting power play time, I don't think. Or actually, no, maybe he is one of the ones I wanted to have power play time for. I know he's definitely getting penalty kill time, but let's take Petrie off the power play. Petrie is not somebody I want to give power play time to. I feel like Zherdev needs power play time because he is an OFD. So we'll get Zherdev on the power play instead of Petrie. Falk obviously is already on a unit, so we need to have another shooter back there. Fada on the power play isn't going to happen either because he's a two-way forward. We are going to probably put him on the power play at some point, but Everley needs to be on the power play. We'll put him at the point with Zherdev. Falk's obviously going to come out here. And we're going to throw in Yakupov on the second unit. Give Nail some power play time. And then for centers, probably Burmistrov would make the most sense on this one. Probably Alexander Burmistrov. I would like to give Marcoux some power play time, but I don't know if there's really a way to slot him in there. Who doesn't fit this unit that well? It's Burmistrov that doesn't. Maybe I will keep Marcoux then on the power play, and then Burmistrov could get a little bit of penalty kill time. It's not a great idea to have Burmistrov as a penalty killer, though, because he's more of an offensive guy, but I think that's something we could just do, I guess. So we'll put Marcoux onto this unit anyways with Yakupov and all that, see how that works for now. Obviously, if our power play is not performing good, we can make adjustments, but for the special teams number 2, though, see, Marcoux and Latti, I think that's a perfect pairing. Or not a perfect pairing, a perfect 1-2 guy. So we'll have those guys together. Jenner and McKinnon, I'm not too sure about having Nathan McKinnon on the penalty kill. Boone Jenner makes a lot of sense. There was some other guys in that bottom 6 like Fada who should probably get penalty kill time. So we'll get Fada into that spot instead. And then on this third one, they already have Fada. They have Cameron. We could put McKinnon on this one maybe. Actually, wait, is Latti on the first one, did I say? Yeah, he is. Okay. Just wanted to make sure that was the right two-way forward. There's too many guys on this team, man. Let's see. Marcoux's already on a unit. Jenner's on a unit. Yeah, I guess we'll put Nathan McKinnon on a unit with Cameron. I mean, might as well try and get some short-handed goals out of that third unit, right? So we'll go with that. And that should be probably good. We'll go back to these ones. So Marcoux's good there. Nathan McKinnon as the second one. I'm going to probably move McKinnon off that unit again. And we'll go to somebody like, not Marcoux again, Jenner on that second unit. Jenner's good at face-offs and all that. We'll take Jenner off this third one. And we will probably give it to Cameron because Cameron's our guy right now. So we'll might as well just give him some penalty kill time on that one as well. And that should be good. So our team is set up for the upcoming season. I think this is going to be a good team. I think we could honestly make it to the playoffs. It really just depends on, I guess, how the coaches work with this team, which I don't know what our scheme fit is right now, but I probably would guess it should be in like the high 60s, my guess. But let's go to coaching staff, just take a brief look at that. So how good of a fit is Chapman right now with our team? At 63, it is a little bit low. It is a little bit low. I could always try and promote these other guys and see if they would be a better fit. Yeah, You know what? Let's just take a brief look at this before we start the season. Might as well, right? Aegon is a 57. Yeah, that's not good enough. Barrett as the head coach is a 60. So yeah, we know our option, and it will be still Chapman as the head coach of this team as a 63. All right, perfect. So we are ready to go to start up 2015-16. We already took a look at the team's rosters in last episode. If you didn't catch that, go take a look at it. There's some interesting teams out there. Let's see what this team's able to do in 2015-16. Obviously, this would be Connor McDavid's rookie year in real life. So, how much of this do we want to simulate? We're only like 60 minutes into this recording. And let's maybe go to like January the 1st or something around. Take a good chunk of the season just to kind of see what this team's made of early on. And that way we get to see if there's anything we need to address or if we want to kind of just keep the team the same, if we're off to a bad start, something like that. But let's go to November the 1st and see how we do in our first month of action with this young roster. As we win our first game 6-4, Derek Englund is on waivers. That's kind of an interesting player. He is 33 years old at this point, though. We aren't going to claim him, but I appreciate it there, New York. First two games of the season are both wins, so that's good to see. Then we also beat the Canucks. We lose in a shootout to Minnesota. Cece's been injured in the AHL with a sprained ankle. That's not a huge loss, but still one of the better prospects I guess we technically have down there. But we are off to a pretty good start this season in our first 6 games. Hopefully that continues all year round. Like I said, I kind of hope this team makes the playoffs just because it would be good to get some experience for some guys like Cameron and McKinnon and all that. But obviously, if we don't make the playoffs, it's not the end of the world yet because we are still a young team and we are bound to make mistakes probably. All right, so CC is back for Springfield, so we'll get him back into the AHL lineup. Hopefully the AHL team has a good year too because they do have a lot of good players down there still. A lot of guys could be NHL bound soon too from that minor league team, which is pretty impressive. So CC was playing where VC is, I think. Actually, was it where VC was? Yeah, it definitely was. Because Mackey's in the AHL now, so I'm excited to see how he does in his first AHL season. There's a lot of other dudes like Holden who's got top 6 potential. Obviously Val, who we just sent down. So there's a bunch of guys that could definitely compete for roster spots soon, which is pretty exciting. All right, let's go back and see if we continue winning some games. Florida is a 4-1 win. Damn, this team is cooking early on in the season. 9-3-1 in our first 13 games. Well, it could be one of those seasons where the first half is really good, the second half is really bad, or it could be just a good season in general. This team is definitely doing well for how young they are, because I don't think we have anybody over the age of 27 or 28, I think, on this roster. So this team is surprising me right now, which is great to see. But yeah, right now we're technically second place in the division, which is pretty solid. Let's keep it going. We'll go to, I guess, December the 1st, so let's go November 30th instead. See if we continue to have a good season. And so far, 10-4-1. There's another loss. Colton Parayko's now fractured his jaw in the AHL. Not great. Another one of our best defensive prospects at the moment. He is a bit older, though, but maybe one of those defensive prospects we look to move away at some point in time. We did have a 3-game losing streak, but we're responding well with nice 2 wins in a row as Parayko is back for Springfield. Like I said, hopefully Springfield has a good year because it would be nice to get a lot of these guys to keep on growing. Moss, who we just recently drafted, could be NHL bound next season, that type of thing. Wait, did I not put CC back in the lineup? I thought I did. Maybe not. Let's get Gagliardi back out. Maybe I forgot to put CC back in. There's so many friggin' defensemen down there. It's actually kind of insane. Hopefully Esamakito is off to a good start. Like I said, he was a low lead offensive defenseman, and he's been generating really good growth. So maybe he could be in the NHL in a few years if he keeps it up like that. All right, let's continue to simulate here. I didn't see what was happening. We're 13-7-1, so not as good of a month of November. But this team is young, will make mistakes. Yeah, we're on a losing streak again here. 5 losses in a row. And then there's a win over Minnesota. So the first month was really good. The second month was a bit inconsistent. A lot of losing streaks. Like we had a 3-game losing streak. We had a 3-game winning streak. And then we went on a 5-game losing streak. So not a great month, but it is expected with this young team to have those type of hiccups. So I'm not going to be too mad at that. We have fallen to 3rd place in the Northwest Division. I don't know where we are in terms of playoff scenarios, but obviously it's still early in the season. it's not going to matter too much at this point. Let's go to the January the 1st, and then that's probably where we'll stop simulating, and we'll take a look and see what our team has been up to and see what troubles we've had, what strengths we've had, so that way we could better address our roster. And there's our first NHL injury of the season. Justin Falk has been injured with back spasms. That's not great. Let's go replace player on that. That'll give Safronov some playing time. But that's a pretty substantial injury to one of our younger defenders. But we are still on a winning streak even without him, as we lost to Colorado after I said that, of course. And now Falk is back, so it was only for like a week. Damn, Cameron's up to a 92 now. Cameron is probably my favorite player on this team right now. It's tough to say. I think he's probably my favorite player on this team, though, to be honest. Like, Nathan MacKinnon's definitely going to be up there at some point, but I think Cameron, I'm really liking how he's been playing. Like, last year he had 70-something points. Maybe this year he's over point per game if he continues like this. Because I don't know the stats right now, but I would assume he's doing well if he's up to a 92. Falk's been injured for the second time this month with an upper body injury. That's unfortunate that he's been injured multiple times this month, but we're still winning some games without him, which is good to see. Falk is back. We'll get him in again. Hopefully he can stay healthy the rest of the season, though, because it would kind of suck if he was injury prone. We'll get Safronov back out here, and we'll get Falk back in. Perfect. All right, 3 more games this month. Colorado is a loss. St. Louis is a win, and Columbus is a win. We are 24-15-1. I think at this rate, this team's going to be a playoff team. We've almost played half of our games this season already, so we're going to go through one more game just because that way we'll not be at the exact halfway point. And we'll take a look at some stats. We just lost to Chicago, but yeah, 24-16-1 is pretty good. Obviously, there's still a chance we could fall back a bit, but this team is definitely doing better already than last year, because last year, how much wins did we finish off with? I think it was a little bit below 40, if I remember right. I can't remember, maybe like 38 wins. I don't know exactly, but I think this team's definitely on pace to have a better year this year based on the numbers so far. But in terms of individual team stats, we are 17th in goals for. So despite me thinking our offense is good, I guess we're not scoring enough, but we're still a very strong defensive team. So yeah, 17th in goals for, 6th in goals against, 15th in power play percentage, and 7th on the penalty kill. So maybe the goaltending right now has been the difference. We do also need to think about giving extensions out to Vasilevsky and stuff like that, I think, this offseason. So it is going to be kind of expensive down the road. But so far, we seem to be simulating decently, at least defensively. Let's take a look at some stats here through 41 games. So McKinnon's over point per game, which is fantastic to see because obviously we're not scoring a lot of goals, but we do have okay depth scoring maybe. Because, yeah, McKinnon's over point per game. Toffoli's actually having a fantastic season. Goddamn. Was not expecting that from him because he didn't play as crazy last year, I don't think. How much goals last year? Yeah, last year he only had 15 goals in 80 games. This year he's already got 21 and 41. Like, he's on pace for a 40-goal season. So, Tyler Toffoli is working really well next to Nathan MacKinnon. Cameron's on 36 points. He's been good. Nyquist is on 33. Eberle's on 32. He's been good too. Only 6 goals as a sniper. That's kind of low. Jakumov's is on 13 goals and 22 points. A little bit of a drop-off right there. Markou's on 21 points in 41 games. 2 power play points only, so maybe we look to put Burmistrov in that spot. And then shorthanded, he only has 1 shorthanded assist so far this season, which is kind of low for him because usually he's picking up a lot of shorthanded points. So maybe we have to think about readdressing some of our special teams a bit. Maybe not our penalty kill because our penalty kill's been good. But our power play, maybe we need to look into taking Markku off and putting Burmistrov in. Fada's on 14 points. He is -8. Not too good so far. Yakupov's on 13 points, +2. Not the craziest results for Yak, but if we could get him next to a better playmaker like MacKinnon, he could do well, but at least he's playing good in the NHL. Like, he's playing okay. Like, he's not bad in terms of defensive play right now. Burmistrov's on 12 points. Yeah, maybe we do give Burmistrov some power play time. He's probably not happy with his ice time. Yep. Probably not. That's not good. So, yeah, we'll look to probably put Burmistrov on the power play next episode, if you guys could remind me on that. Jenner on 8 points so far in 41 games, -8. Not too great defensively. Latty's not been good defensively, only 5 points. So a couple guys in that bottom 6 aren't really producing much and also have bad plus minuses, especially the fourth line of Fada, Jenner, and Latty, which is kind of unfortunate. But in general, I've been pretty impressed with the offensive load, I think, so far, because a lot of guys are actually scoring goals or picking up points. Very impressed with Toffoli and McKinnon, though, I'd say, for the most part. And then pretty much everybody above 32 points, I guess, is good. Jankomov's probably needs to be doing a little bit better. Obviously, he is going to need to get paid this offseason, so hopefully we don't have to pay him too much. From a defensive standpoint so far, Russell's leading the defensive core in points. Probably not a good thing. 12 points so far. Same for Falk. He has 12 points in 37 games. Obviously missed a few games due to injury. Zhurdev's on 10 points so far. Not bad. Petrie 10 points. Link on 8. Metropolit has 3 points so far and a plus 12. And Safronov has 2 points in 4 games but is minus 3. So from a defensive standpoint, our defensive core must be holding strong. And in our goaltending, both goalies have been really good so far. Vasilevsky's got a 22-11-1 record, a .916 save percentage, and a 2.64 goals against average. Meanwhile, Ruskovich, who we traded for, has a losing record, a 2-5 record, but he's got a .920 save percentage and a 2.59 goals against average. So I guess when the team has played with him in net, we aren't scoring enough goals, but he's been doing his job. Like 18 goals against in 7 games is not a lot. So that's kind of strange. Like, if we go to his stats here and go game by game, does it show the final score in that game? Not really. But every single game he's played this season, he allowed 3 goals. He allowed 5 goals in a game, so that was a bad one. But in 2 goals, 3 goals, 1 goal, 3 goals, 1 goal. Like, there's only been one time he's allowed more than 3 goals. So he's been pretty consistent, which is nice to see as a backup. All right. Let's briefly take a look at some stats around the league as well, since we're at the halfway point, just see who's leading the NHL. Right now, it is Sidney Crosby with 72 points in 42 games, 40 goals already for him. Malkin's up there again. It seems like Crosby, Malkin, and also Justin Williams usually are the guys. I don't know where Williams is now, though, because he's not in this top 10 area, which is kind of strange. Gabrick's on a 30-goal season behind Nikita Kucherov, which is kind of insane. Where's Williams? Oh, there he is. 58 points in 42 games. Yeah, the Pittsburgh Penguins are definitely doing really well again this year, which is not really a surprise. Best defenseman so far, John Carlson with 39 points. And then best goalie so far, Corey Crawford, 25 wins already. But if you're looking at Vezina favorites right now, probably Jonas Hiller. 929 save percentage for Hiller. Hiller's been elite this year. Don't know how. And goals against average, yeah, Jonas Hiller is probably the favorite right now for the Vezina. Didn't think I would be saying that. That's kind of insane. And the best rookie so far this year as well is this Shannon Gagliardi guy. 25 points. Shane Goss's Bears made the NHL, and he's doing really well offensively for a D-man. All right. So there's that. Actually, who's quickly in the President's Trophy favorite area in terms of the entire league? Let's see. Chicago and Pittsburgh are the top 2 teams. Not really a surprise for this day and age. Tampa's actually up to 4th, so who knows? Maybe we'll get Chicago and Tampa in the Cup Finals like there was in 2015 in real life. That'd be kind of interesting a year late. Or who knows? Maybe we'll have an actual Cup Finals like Pittsburgh and this year would have been Nashville. Is Nashville doing well? Where is Nashville? Nashville is not doing good, so we probably won't get a realistic Cup Finals. No, Pittsburgh and Nashville was 2017. So this would be San Jose, actually. So that could be a realistic result then. 2017 was Nashville. I don't know why I thought it was San Jose, or vice versa, but whatever. Okay, anyways, let's go back to the Western Conference here for a second. Currently, we are 4th place in the Western Conference, so we're definitely primed to make a playoff spot right now. If you sort off points percentage, we're obviously a little bit lower. We're on 6th place, basically, but we are doing quite well for us, and I think there's a realistic chance this team makes the playoffs. As long as we could kind of maybe find that goal-scoring touch a little bit more, I definitely think we can. Now, the real question is, do we still want to look into maybe bringing in Ryan Smith from the Kings? That could be something we do if we want to upgrade from Nail Yakupov on our forward group, because as much as I'd like to get Yakupov to become something he wasn't, we could get Ryan Smith for this 3rd line potentially. Like, that wouldn't work out too bad, I don't think. So, I don't know what it would cost to get Ryan Smith. Like, if we went to find trade right now, Just because I know you guys want me to bring back Ryan Smith. How much would it cost to get Ryan Smith from the LA Kings? Let's see. Let's go to left wingers here. He doesn't have a lot of value. Right now, the cost would be Burmistrov and Safronov, which I'm not willing to part with those two guys, I don't think. The other option would be third and a Safronov, so we'd still need a depth defenseman, but maybe we could do something like a third and Yakupov instead of Safronov, and he'd accept. It's tough to say, but that's not too bad of an asking price. Like, if we're going to make the playoffs, we might as well try and bring back Ryan Smith. And he has been a pretty good producer again this season. He's point per game still, despite being 39 years old. So I don't know if he would do as good with us because he'd be getting power play time probably still too, but he probably wouldn't be scoring as much because the LA Kings have been always just a really good team. They're probably in a playoff spot right now too, so they probably wouldn't want to get rid of him. But we always could just cheese the system and get him anyways. But final few things to take a look at. Let's take a look at the trading block, and we'll also take a look at the draft class briefly again too, just to see what there is out there, since we do have a lot of picks in this year's draft. But I just want to see if there's any potential trades we could explore other than bringing in Ryan Smith. We might as well just kind of maintain this team instead and maybe bring in Ryan Smith, but I don't think we need to try and upgrade really anything since we're a young team. We're not trying to rush a cup into this organization. We want to kind of take our time with it a little bit. Has Sharma been playing in the HL yet, out of curiosity? I'm just curious on how his development's going. Oh yeah, he has been. Oh yeah, that's right. 9 points in 43 games. Not a huge goal scorer down there, I guess. Buffalo. James Neal on the block, huh? Surprised James Neal's a 78, but he's probably not happy with ice time or something. But I'll briefly look through this. Like I said, I don't think we're probably going to make any trades other than maybe Ryan Smith, just because we don't need to really sacrifice the future to bring in a vet. So, wow, Setaguchi's probably scratched too, because there's no way he would be happy. Yeah, he's injured as well at the moment. So he played 13 games, only had a goal in 13 games. So he is kind of developing into that player he was in real life. He had some okay seasons in San Jose, but in Colorado, he's not been getting that playing time really, and he's just dropped off completely. So kind of realistic, because in real life, he was obviously, I think, in Calgary and Winnipeg for a point, but then he just lost a bunch of his touch he had in San Jose. And he was kind of highly touted at one point too, which is insane. So kind of cool to see some realistic results, even though it would have been cool to see Setaguchi become really good, but San Jose moved on from him, and now he's not as good. Jonathan Bernier is still on the block, huh? Guess they're just trying to offload that salary. I'm excited to see what type of trades AI makes if we do the rest of the regular season in the next episode, which we probably could. Or maybe we'll sim up to the trade deadline in the next episode, because I don't know if I want to go through the season super quick, but at the same time, we might as well if the team's actually doing good, right? So, but a lot of teams have just prospects on the block that I think are mostly generated, so it's not super crazy of a trading block. Mike Richards is on the block. That's a pretty substantial player to be on the trade block at this point. Damn. How's he simulated, out of curiosity? Not as good maybe as real life. I mean, actually maybe consistently to real life. But, he's never made the playoffs. I'm surprised Philadelphia has not made the playoffs in this universe, because they had a great team with Chris Pronger at the beginning. Milan McCulloch on the buck, Michael Layden. But yeah, Mike Richards is a fantastic player. So if he gets dealt to a team like the LA Kings, that'd be kind of neat, just for realism purposes. Pittsburgh, just a bunch of prospects. San Jose has nothing. St. Louis, more prospects. It seems like everybody just wants to get rid of their prospects, because that's always the highest value the team has. Marcel Gotch, don't need Gotch. More prospects in Vancouver, and in Washington, it's more prospects again. So there's that. Let's take a brief look at the draft class, because if we go to our draft board, like I was mentioning, we have a lot of picks in this year's draft. We did offload a couple of them in the last episode, but we still have a 5th and a 4th, and then we have 4 thirds and 4 seconds, and our first still. So we could always package a bunch of these seconds and thirds to get players if we need them, or we could upgrade those into first-round picks if this draft class is actually going to be good. So let's take a look at what this draft class is looking like right now. And it's going to be a standard draft class with elite players, apparently. Because Suominen's medium elite. We could technically say Suominen might be like I guess, Patrick Laine, but he is a playmaker this one, so probably not. Like I was going to say, this Ramsey guy we could say is Austin Matthews, but there is also the Swiss guy in Fitz Morris, so I don't know who the heck he would be. But, yeah, we still don't know enough about this draft class yet, but hopefully it's a good one. Hopefully we could find some later round steals in it again. Even though we don't need as much prospects as we used to, it'd be kind of just good to keep on replenishing the AHL, basically. Hey, that guy we did pin in the last episode is actually a low elite, so that's nice. So maybe he's a late round steal for us. There's also Mark Dingle, who is also a guaranteed low elite two-way. We'll pin him for sure. Cross might be a low elite. He might be a low elite. It's tough to say right now, but he's getting close to being guaranteed. Sergei Kazhiznikov, weird name to say, but yeah, he's also maybe a low elite. So there might be some steals in this draft class, which is good for us. All right, so I think that is pretty much it. I don't think there's anything else I wanted to take a look at before we ended this episode. I don't think so. So anyways, guys, that's going to do it for this episode of Edmonton Oilers Throwback 2010 Franchise Mode. So in next episode, we'll probably simulate up to the trade deadline, or we might get the rest of the season done in this next episode. But I think, obviously, like if we are going to try and upgrade anything, maybe we do bring in Ryan Smith and get rid of somebody on that third line or something like Yakupov we could part ways with if we really wanted to. Or we could just literally let this team play out the entire year and see how they play, see if they make the playoffs with no trades whatsoever. Obviously, this would be the year to bring in Ryan Smith probably, though, because he's likely to retire in the offseason. So if we want to bring him in, we need to probably do it this year. So, down below, and I'll see you guys next time.